Oh shit! Is OBS not? Did OBS have an update? Because they fucked with us. Oh, the stream's not gonna hear this, but we are. We can leave it in. Shit. No, I've actually had the same fucking issue with my OBS and D&D, but we'll talk about that more when we restart the stream.
Yeah, hold on. I need to. Thank you everyone for telling us. I'm trying to make it so that I can hear you, Cloudy. Can you just like keep talking for a little bit?
Big penis.
Okay. Try again.
Hi everybody. Brazil's no more.
Okay, that wasn't it. I have like the issue is that I have like multiple different like audio channels, and I want you to be in the right one. There you go.
All right. It's a good thing I'm recording this then, because then when you put it in post, it's gonna be funny.
I also realized I forgot to put the oh my god, you're fucking on the balls today. There we are. So, as I was saying, that the chat has then not heard is that so ever since I lost my Leslie is super quiet and Cloudy is really loud. Okay.
Penis.
Let me try and put a gain on this bitch while we're doing this live. But ever since I lost my job, I've been going to bed at 2 a.m. and I've been and then I lay in bed and I read, and then I probably like first fall asleep at somewhere around 3:30 a.m. and then I wake up at 11, stay in bed for like an hour just browsing TikTok or Twitter or something, and then I get up, and at that time it's around like 12. So that's great.
I don't know what it is about like TikTok specifically, but it's one hell of a goddamn time sink.
It is.
Like I have ADHD. I already have like an issue with like time blindness, which like it's a weird ass concept because like you look down for a moment and you look up at the clock and 3 hours have gone by and you don't even notice it like that. But it's especially bad with TikTok. I actually think it's goddamn heinous. But like. It's weird though, because like you're sitting there and you're thinking you're just looking at a few videos, and really just time's gone away.
Yeah.
I
don't know what it is either. So like at this point, I had just like set up like rules for myself to make it so that I when I see a video like this, I am going to stop TikTok for today, and I've just made it like the next first trap I see. I'm putting the phone down. So it's often not a long time that passes before I have to, like I say that before I have to put the phone down.
Damn. Goddamn. That's kind of funny though. Because like you open up TikToks, the first thing you find you're on that side, and it's like, well, that's been a good day. I had like a weird time blindness thing, but it was in reverse. So, like I said, I have ADHD. I have like issues just doing things normally. But after that, like I think around like 3 p.m. yesterday, I realized I forgot to take my meds after I pushed the truck into the backyard, which I'm gonna get to, by the way, because that's a little neat foreshadowing right there. But I took my meds and I actually grabbed the wrong thing. Normally I just take it with water or milk. I took it with like straight up my coffee this morning. So it's no secret that like ADHD meds are basically just flat out chemically cocaine. So I just took cocaine and like coffee at the same time.
So
and you'd think I'd be tweaking. I think I was, but I was also way more fucking focused than I've ever been. Like, so I was just like on my bed playing fucking Slay the Spire on my Twitch on my Switch because my computer was doing some things that I'll explain later. But I kind of just sat there for like 5 hours, and I was actually surprised it was only 5 hours that I was that focused and wired. Because usually when I have ADHD, I sit down in my bed, it's dark outside, and it's like midnight dark outside. But here I'm like, oh my god, I stopped myself before 10 p.m. What a fucking revolution. Oh shit. Hi, Ika. I see you there. That's my DM.
Ah, hey, Cooper. We, like, that whole thing about... I had something I wanted to say, but I've forgotten now. Because, like, all I can see is that someone, like, took a text-to-speech thing in the chat, and we shouldn't have that on when we're doing the podcast.
I think it is. I think it is something with like OBS or some shit. Like, fuck, I was recording my one shots 2 weeks ago with my friends, and it's like I had the weirdest audio issues where like it was recording my microphone, but also the voice mod I was using. Even though I turned it off, they still like overlapped, and I had this constant echo.
Oh Jesus. Okay, so real quick, I don't know if it's coming through, but the Google speaker I have in my bathroom just started playing Wet Ass Pussy.
I hear a little something. I can't hear exactly what it is, but that'd be one way to get copywritten. Oh my god. The podcast is on to a great start today. Oh my god. Everything's gone wrong in like the first 13 minutes. Cool.
My fucking sweet child of mine. We have like barely gotten started.
I've been up for like an hour and everything's already gone to shit. Oh, I love this. It's a good old American morning if I've ever seen one. So yeah, we didn't have a podcast last week because I was in the jungles of the Amazon, aka my fucking backyard.
Yeah, actually, like while you explain that, let me go and fucking find the picture that you sent me. So I can show that on the screen while you talk about it, because I don't think that people like when you say that you have to go out and like tend to your garden, mow the lawn or whatever. I don't think people honestly know like just how insane your garden is.
Like the whole issue that arose from it was just negligence and laziness, but also stubbornness to find someone else to do it. Like, okay, to preface this, back in November, my dad hired somebody to basically replace the garage door of the shed that's behind the house. So they did this. They never installed the motor that my dad paid for. Which, by the way, I told you the whole thing was $500. No, that's just the motor. The whole thing was like $2,500 for the whole thing. And they never finished the damn job. Yeah. So poison ivy cash at your place. You'll see it in a bit when Lassa brings it up. But like when we got the shed doors replaced, it's like the roll up ones. Was supposed to have a motor, but the motor's never been installed, and there's no other way in. Like there used to be a door in the front that you just open normally, but that was gone. So we just basically had a closed shed for like I want to say 9 months out of the year, and the issue with that, because you can kind of see this right now. This was taken from the attic of my apartment, and fucking Brazil. It's been like that for 9 months, and our lawnmower, our machetes, our snowblowers were all inside the shed. And I don't know if something got in and fucked with it, but the doors have been stuck for 9 months. Oh god, is that a jungle? I mean, yeah.
I still think it's funny how like you're going, oh yeah, so we didn't have access to our machete, and I'm like, you have a fucking machete, and then like like you mentioned as much when we were initially talking about it before you actually showed me the picture. I'm like, how the fuck could you ever need a fucking machete for this shit? And then you show me the picture, and I'm like, bitch, you need fucking 5 machetes. You need to fucking you need to fucking sorrow that shit with a machete in each hand and one in your mouth, one between your butt cheeks and one in your armpit. Like you fucking need to origiri that fucking garden with your machetes. My fucking lord, you need Danny Trejo himself to come in here and fucking cut that garden up. My sweet lord.
Oh god. Honestly, it was just the backyard that got really fucking bad because the front yard's mostly dirt and just some weeds I have to take out. But like, I cannot stress how obnoxious dealing with this shit was because ours was the only one like this, and we've been trying to reach out to the guy who made the put the doors out to finish installing the fucking motor so we can get into our damn shed. And you never showed me this. Now I understand everything. Yeah, it's funny. I was complaining to Hika and to the nurse in our campaign. Like she's an actual nurse. Why I threw out my lower back? It's because I took care of this with a machete. But point is, we got to the point where we were just so fed up. We basically had said, okay, you know what? It's not worth it. I'm just going to hire someone else to fix new doors. So that same day, my dad hired somebody to like fix the doors. But what we ended up doing was my dad always told me for 9 months the reason we don't just break it and get in is because my dad wants the job finished. He got so fed up. We just pushed the door down and just said, fuck it. So we broke into our own goddamn shed because like, okay, you know what? He did this after he bought a new weed whacker and borrowed my mom's lawnmower. So thankfully, we're not getting rid of anything. But we have 3 lawnmowers in the shed. We have 2 weed whackers and like 5 machetes. So we have everything good.
So you actually do have 5 machetes.
Yeah, I wasn't kidding. We do.
So you so you can actually do the sorrow thing that I was just talking about.
Like one in my butt cheeks and one in my armpit. Yeah. Yes. But okay, to be fair, like the reason we have machetes and we're just so used to them is because like in Puerto Rico, you need a fucking machete just to get out the front lawn. Because like because like tropics, everything grows like fucking crazy down there. So my dad kind of just has like customary, like you would with a fucking lawnmower or a garden hoe. But anyway, it took me, my roommate, and my dad like 3 hours basically to clear out the place. And overall, I'd say we did a pretty good job. Now, here, like the logistical issue, aside from having to break into our own property, another reason why we ended up having to clear all this shit and like, make way for all this stuff is that outside the front of our house, there is a truck that has not worked since 2019. And my dad doesn't want to put in the shed because not only that is the door broken, but my dad said that the truck is too big to fucking fit in there in the first place. Also, the space he's using it in there is like supposed to belong to the roofer. Yeah, that's after we cleared it out. You could see all the machete marks. The like underbrush in the back is also gone now because I took care of that the day after. Actually, shit. I didn't want to take a picture of my fucking neighbor's room, but like their fucking shed, half of their ceiling actually caved in yesterday.
What the fuck?
It's fucking empty. Yeah, we live in the fucking boonies, bro. But anyway, after all this shit happened, please don't show him the picture of the opening of the garage because I just realized my license plate is in there.
Oh yeah, dude, I figured as much.
Okay, but truck. Yes, truck. I was talking about the truck. So you see that area like right next to my neighbor's shed? That is just there. Like, there's not a fence separating it. That's just his shed on our fucking lawn. This fucking truck that has been dead forever. We've been told that we need to move it, or else the people my dad hired to fix the roof can't bring in their materials. So yesterday, my older brother, me, my dad, and I, and my brother's wife or girlfriend, basically all had to work together and physically push the goddamn car into the backyard now that we made space for it.
My lord.
Like, the car, like, the battery is broken, there's something with the engine, and, like, I don't know what the fuck, but my dad actually had to jump the fucking car just so that it could hold a spark long enough so we can put it in neutral. Because the moment the jump ended, the car died again. Fucking American trucks, man. I don't know how they got so ass, but it's pretty fucking ass.
You don't.
But yeah, no, we literally spent the whole fucking time like just basically terraforming Brazil in our backyard, and that took like a good long while. I'm still recovering from the arm and back pains, but it's all good because now there's a truck in the back.
You did it.
You can't convince me that Western Mass is just missing chunks. Yeah, I can believe that.
So, like, well, you had that going for you. What was the story about your computer then that forced you to play Slay the Spire on your Switch?
It wasn't really that important, but you know that I have like a friend who does a Patreon, and like one of the business models is that he draws. Fuck, I'm just gonna come out with it. Like not safe for work images with very like multiple variants of it, and his computer is too fucking slow to print out all the variants he makes. So I have like a script in Photoshop to just like do all the variants, and it basically took like 3 hours to goddamn go through them all in one shot.
Jesus.
So while my computer was like rendering Photoshop, which is a weird fucking sentence to say unless you're me, but while that was happening, I'm like, ah, shit, if I try opening Steam, it'll crash because Adobe is fucking junky. So while I was tweaked out on fucking shit, I just said, I'll just spend a few minutes playing Slay the Spire on my bed. And I'll be honest, this is like the first time playing it. Dear fucking God, that game, I swear, cheats. It's bullshit, but it's also addicting like every other fucking roguelike. I also got sad because this is also the day that Raj bought me Elden Ring, and I still have not had a chance to play it, but I want to now. Because it looks like fun, and I want to punch everybody.
You want to do the ride by Shoryuken?
Yes. Drive by Shoryuken.
Amazing.
This is why you don't download free porn from the shady ads. No! No, my friend he has it on his Patreon. It's not free, you pay for it. But it's good quality. It's
and not shady.
Not shady. It is well shaded, though. I am impressed.
Oh, okay.
Actually, it's like I can't really show his art, but I admire the guy because he went on this whole fucking character arc where his art was kind of really bad and chunky like 4 years ago, and then like some people made him out to be a tracer or some shit because he was using references. But instead of getting mad, he fucking doubles down and out of spite starts, like, copying how other popular artists do their, like, coloring and shit. There was, like, a whole time he started making drawings entirely in, like, Persona-style coloring. And I'm, like, I'm more impressed because, like, he did all this shit through pure spite and hatred, but he also ended up improving like fucking crazy at the end of it. So now that he finally understands all this nature of color and shit, He's like, I'm gonna just do my own thing. Here's some shit that doesn't work. Here's shit that does, and he's making pretty good killing off of it, and I'm proud of him.
That's nice.
Destroy Brazil to make space for a truck. You know what? I just realized we can call my backyard Fordlandia.
Oh god.
Because that's essentially what happened. We'd cut down the rainforest and probably millions of ecosystems for Ford.
Your backyard provided the oxygen needed for like your entire street.
Yeah, it could have, and honestly.
Dear God, that must be a big truck then. Cloudlandia. Ooh, I like that.
Oh, I like that too. Damn.
So you have had like a massive endeavor going for you, and despite of that, you have managed to also beat Heavensward of Final Fantasy 14, which, like, I don't want to go into like a massive talk about Final Fantasy 14 again because that has been like our last few podcasts' like main topic, but I can understand that once you left Ishgard, you started having more fun with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I'm definitely going to say like Also, I realized I mixed up the name for the guy. I called him Brioche on the stream, and I call him Biscuit in the chat. Point is, I name him after bread.
Yeah.
But I do think that this person definitely sucked a lot of the enjoyment out of the story. Because, like, I came in with, like, not liking anybody and not happy with the situation I was in. And it made it really hard for me to empathize with anybody that was going on.
Yeah, it was also to the point where, like, I almost felt I had to step in and be like, hey, bro, like, try and give it a chance. Like, it seems like you're actively enjoying hating it for the sake of hating it at this point.
I think for a while I did. Mostly because, like, I called Horsefort dying. After Moonbread, I was like, God.
Spoiler.
Alright, spoiler. Horse faucet. Horseradish. Horsecock. We'll just call him Horsecock. Nobody.
Alice calls him Horfarts.
Horfarts. Sorry for the spoiler, but it's like, how do I explain this? Because, like, I genuinely was having fun when I was actually in the raids, in the weeds, doing all this shit. Because I was just going around with, like, my friend, and we were, like, watching funny shit happen on our way to do our quests and shit. It's just, like, when shit starts to happen past the dragons is when I actually started to, like, I found myself enjoying again. Because it stopped being, I got bored of, like, hating on it for hating on its sake. Yeah. And then I kind of, like, just started watching it from, like, my character's perspective. Because, like I told you, he has outfits for every class he does. As a monk, he's a cowboy. He's a pimp as a dragoon. And he's a swimsuit model as a dark knight.
Did you get the new swim outfit from that, like, summer event?
Yes, that is the one he's wearing.
Did you attempt the jump puzzle?
Yes, I attempted the jump puzzle. I got halfway before I started having flashbacks to Maple Story, and I'm like, I'm not doing this anymore.
Alice and I tried to do it. I got the furthest, but at one point, like, you have to do some weird camera stuff, so my hand was starting cramping up because I was constantly just holding down, like, the right mouse button. But okay, so you're done with that now, and now you're on your way to Stormblood, which I like. So it's weird. Everyone keeps saying that. Oh, Heavensward is where it gets, like, fucking phenomenal and all that. And you didn't have as much fun with it as I had hoped, which is perfectly fair. But I'm honestly because, like, a lot of people dunk on Stormblood, but I can't help but feel that this might be where you in particular are going to enjoy it, because there's a lot of it that feels like the same vibe that I have gotten from One Piece and Hunter x Hunter.
Like, I Correct me if I'm wrong. Do you find Alamigo in Stormbringer or or Shadowbringers or Stormblood?
Stormblood.
Okay, yeah. So I just finished having one myself, and I haven't gotten fully hooked into the story. Yeah, that the DM and I have like the same thing because you know me, I came into Heavensward like with a crabby attitude. I was like, basically, fucking give Ishgard to the Naf. They deserve it more. Yeah. And I still kind of stand by that. The Pope was basically Nazis.
Yeah.
And the dragons were communists. But my stance is aside as an American. The thing that actually caught my interest is all the Alamiga shit. Because you know me, I started out as a monk. Mm-hmm. And that's like a big part of the fucking storyline. Mm-hmm. Because Wittergast is a big thing with Alamiga and shit.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Which is funny because like again, I loved Heavensward, and then I heard that Stormblood is gonna take a lot of like stuff in Alamiga, and I was like, I don't fucking care, and I was a monk too, so it's really interesting to have like because we're like completely polar opposites. Where at this junction, I still hope that we're going to meet like that you're going to be like okay, this is fucking rad, like in the same way that I had with One Piece. So like I still maintain that hope, definitely think. But I don't want to like do like the brioche biscuit thing, and I don't want you to force like something, because that's also a thing, like people force themselves to like something to be like part of a community or take part in a conversation and be like, oh yeah, I also like this. But one can still hope.
Yeah. Honestly though, like, okay, I don't know what the fuck is going on, because thank God my roommate's a goddamn Chad and is keeping things from me until the opportune times. I haven't even seen the Stormblood trailer yet until I got through Heavensward. But point is, it wasn't until we started going through like the last few raids back to back where we fought the what the fuck did I call him in chat? Like Moby Cock or some shit?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, cause Moby Dick and a big white whale. When like that raid music is still a fucking banger. Mm-hmm. And it was like from all the way there up until we punched fucking Pope Thornton in the face. Because you see a Pope on a chair. It doesn't matter if this is an anime or a video game. You always end up fighting the Pope at some point. I was crucified for skipping.
I started doing Realm Reborn and even Heavensward, wasn't it? I'm not gonna crucify you. Okay, so I've noticed that because like I've been doing some work at home, and I put on the podcast just because I like to sometimes hear my own stuff and our stuff just so I can see like how can we improve it. And a thing that we unfortunately do is we sometimes go okay, yeah, and then we start like replying to a comment which you can't like read when you're like listening to it. So I think that if we in the future when we reply to a comment in the chat, we read it aloud so everyone knows what's going on. And there's a comment here that is, I was crucified for skipping cutscenes, but I just didn't like the story during Realm Reborn, and even Heavensward wasn't it. Which, like, I'm definitely not going to crucify, because as I told Claudia, I did the same thing with Realm Reborn. But it also needs to be stressed that this is not, like... World of Warcraft and many other MMOs kind of give like this whole thing that what the focus is with an MMO is not the story, it is the like getting the big number for your gear. Like, oh, my item level needs this. But Final Fantasy 14 isn't that. This is a like this is one where the story actually matters. So, like, even if you didn't like it in Heavensward, like, if you don't like it in Heavensward, it's probably like that's perfectly fine. I can imagine it doesn't help that you are now lacking a lot of context that you would probably have gotten from various cutscenes, because sure, you can read something up on like a wiki or something later, and then go, Jimmy died, and then it's like, okay, that sucked. But like when you then see Jimmy dying and it's like really heartfelt, and you see how people react to it or something, you get more emotionally invested in it. I definitely like, again, I don't have a leg to stand on. I skipped all of Realm Reborn story until like the Parting Glass thing, and then even for a lot of Heaven's Ward, I didn't. It wasn't until Miko Soma steals your gift that I was like, okay, I actually kind of like want to know what's going on, and so I started like going into. I think I linked you the page, but like just a site that kind of like recaps, like a bunch of like story beats and like kind of explains like what is going on, and then like when I felt like, okay, I'm caught up now, then like me and the crew started, like actually taking active part in the story, and I feel like that was really when my enjoyment of the game really like took over. But before I swing it over to you, I think like I don't recall who said it, but I think like a great way that I heard it being described is that was that people describe most MMOs as a massive multiplayer game that was online. No, what was it? An online game that happened to be an RPG. Whereas Final Fantasy XIV is an RPG that happens to be online.
Yeah, I think that is like the best way to describe it. And like, I definitely do feel that like running into that one fan that kind of like gushed about how amazing the story was supposed to be made me a lot more critical about it. And I think it's mostly just now that I'm like done with like the Dark Knight storyline at the moment. Like I'm at like the level 50, and I switched over to the level 50 mentor. And I just want to talk about this real quick because it put me on a whole goddamn conniption, and like I'm on this whole train of research right now. But spoilers if you want to play Dark Knight. But like that whole storyline is where you like you find the crystal off a corpse, and you talk with like the darkness inside you, yada yada yada. And the guy who told me that like, oh, Heaven's Word is the best story, fucking Shadowbringers, you're gonna oodle and goodle gush about it. The early Dark Knight is the best part of 14. I played it, and that was like, I think that was like where I was the most critical with the entirety of 14, because he explained it as like, oh, it's a look at Freudian psychology.
Yeah,
because your darkness is your shadow, and like you deserve better. Why should we fucking have to answer to all these people? And I'm thinking about this, like as a person like who just enjoys stories, and I thought of it as like the perspective of my character and all the shit I've done up to this point, and how does this context fit in there? And I'm just like, I had to like question, do I even know what is good? Do I even have taste? Because I just really didn't like it. It was told personally well, and it told some really meaningful questions, but it also felt preachy at the same time. But like, criticisms aside, I recognized it was good, but it didn't resonate with me like it resonated with this psycho fanboy. And I had to like start questioning myself, like from like a cultural perspective, like why do I feel like this? Why am I not fangasming over this? So like I'm like going into research about like myths and all these, and how other people's values are different. I'll like send you the link to the book later. But like I'm probably next week on the podcast I'll talk about like story structure and shit.
I think so. Like that whole Freudian psychology. No, that's not it.
No.
As a guy who's done like a lot of research on it, no, that's not it. But like, so I heard Pat from Super Best Friends mention it before I even, like got around to actually fully invest myself in Final Fantasy 14. And I think that like if you had brought it up to me that this was young psychology and I got what I got, I would have been like, fuck this. Oh my fucking god. Like I would have been just like you, like this is fucking cock. But the way that Pat described it kind of made, like when I played it, I was like, yeah, okay, I can see it. Which was that the Dark Knight is basically every frustration that you have had doing quests in an RPG. Like, hey, savior, fucking, can you get like 6 bags of corn? And I'm like, fucking you do it. Oh my fucking god, Kevin, you do it. Like that, and that is what I got from the Dark Knight. And then like as I was playing, like that rings true. But I also think that that's because like my measuring stick is a different one than the one that you got. So for me, the numbers check out. Whereas you're like, oh, this is gonna make you fucking question whether or not like you're actually human or something. It's like, no, it's not gonna fucking do that.
I know, and I'm like, I'm starting to have this like thing where I think, like the crazy super fans, they are. I don't think they're just reading into this kind of thing. They're actually pulling out their own interpretations from something that's not really there.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, I actually did that with the monk storyline of all things. 'Cause okay, like here's the thing. I started off as a monk, then I went as dragoon, and then a dark knight. The thing with like dragoons and dark knights, or like probably a lot of the other classes, is that you actually have a mentor that like, guides you in a certain direction. Like the dragoon storyline is all. It's not until like your level 50s where you start having to be like the guy that looks over someone else, like that one bitch who wanted to fight a dragon. But like, as a monk, from minute 1, you're already fucking babysitting your mentor.
Yeah.
Because he's a washout. And like during like the 30 level 30s and up, you're talking with like the scientist who looks down on you, and your weird monk guy who thinks he's better above it all because he's trying to do this for Alamiga, and you're kind of in the middle, like, bro, what the fuck? Kiss and make up, you dumb fucks. But it's like, it's weird. I saw that whole thing as like, I actually came into the story more mature and more capable than the people around me. I actually felt like a damn warrior of light because I'm solving everyone's problems and I don't even know what the fuck I'm doing yet. And then like you look like Dragoon and Dark Knight, where like they definitely make you feel like you're a nobody who's like, oh my god, what the hell is this? I'm so cool. And you like gradually learn from that. Whereas I saw Monk, you were a fucking boss from the start, and you have to make everyone catch up to you. And I definitely can promise you, that is not the interpretation that other people, or like the writers even intended, but I kind of got that. Yeah. And to circle back this discussion, I think that's why I'm going to be a little more forgiving, because I think it was just whatever Biscuit was going through, like something in that Dark Knight made him see that, and he invented that own interpretation.
Yeah.
So I think that's actually kind of interesting, where you like see a story and two people can get wildly different interpretations out of it.
Yeah.
And they can justify it however way they want.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, very apropos, I saw a post yesterday where like some kind of like K-pop fan or something had taken a picture of some girl with like really like long hair, and like it was flat and all that stuff, and the K-pop fan was like, oh my god, Jin Yoon's curls, and there's not a fucking curl to be seen. And like someone commented on it, K-pop fans are just fucking lying out here, and I thought that was fun, and I feel like that is like similar to Biscuit in that he saw something in a thing that he really really likes, And maybe I don't know Biscuit, and I don't want to talk trash about like a friend or someone who's not even here to defend themselves.
Yeah.
But it feels very much like I can assume that he also likes psychology and all this stuff. So I think that he was just like, oh, I like this thing and I like this thing, so I'm going to try and force it to that the thing that I like contains this other thing that I like, which is it's cute, and like I will never take away people enjoying something, because I like people passionate about something is honestly one of the most like interesting things in the world, but like it's a little disingenuous, and especially if you then try and put this onto other people, which can then effectively hurt their experience. Which is why I have talked at length about how Final Fantasy 14 made me retroactively like other Final Fantasy games.
Yeah.
But I am also like understanding that if I if I start saying this to, for example, you, first of all, we don't have the same starting line. You kind of liked Final Fantasy before going into Final Fantasy 14, where I was like on my fucking high horse, where I was like, yeah, I'm too good for Final Fantasy. I was like kind of taking pot shots at it. So if I started going like, oh no, this one will change like your entire view on Final Fantasy, no, like. You can't do that. What you can say is that you enjoyed it. What you can say is that, oh, there was some twists and turns, and I like the characters and all that stuff. That is fine. But like saying that it's going to change, so like remember, people don't necessarily have the same values or the same like measuring stick as you.
Yeah. Oh, which by the way, something I just really want to just point out, just because I only played Final Fantasy 1. So there's a big cache in my brain of just random moments from that one dumb NES video game. Well, like, it didn't click to me until we got to Matoya's cave that I'm like, wait a minute. Is this who I think it is? And it's just the fucking witch from Final Fantasy 1. I fucking fangasmed the moment I saw her. Like, I know this bitch! They even have the weird talking backwards brooms like in the game. I was so fucking hyped. You have no idea.
The Final Fantasy 14 definitely feels like the game that if you are like a Final Fantasy fan, this is for you. Like where the story is now, there's a ton of Final Fantasy 4 stuff. I don't even know Final Fantasy 4. I had a dude in a dungeon tell us that, oh, this is Final Fantasy 4, and even like the battle music was like a remixed version of the Final Fantasy 4 battle music. So like there's a lot of stuff like that. But yeah, again, they didn't want to go on a massive rant. It's just like, hey, okay, this is where you're at, and you could have liked it more, but yeah.
I will say I'm really looking forward to like the post Heaven Sword stuff. Like, I'll just leave it at this. I actually had a lot of fun with A Realm Reborn, like stumbling around, learning things, really being the sprout as I was. And it wasn't until that interaction with Biscuit where everything took a turn down. But I definitely see myself. I'm coming back from the peak. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to Stormblood like a lot now.
How are you liking the music? Are you even paying attention to it?
They're like I am like mostly to like the raid stuff. Like I said, fucking Bismarck, Bitchmark. That's what I called it. Bitch smack, Bitchmark. The White Whales theme is a fucking banger. I love it. I don't know where it's from. I love all like the raid music stuff. That's where everything gets the most hype.
Where it's from, dude. All of the songs you hear in this game is for that game. Like they're not from anything.
Yeah, and I love it.
The funny thing is, I don't know if you noticed, but like most of the like heavy like songs with lyrics and stuff are composed by a band where the music director Soken is a musician in, and the fucking English translator. Like the main head of writing for like the English branch is the vocalist of, and they're called the Primals.
Oh,
They are full on fucking band that tour and shit.
I love that. I think you told me that on the last podcast. I love it.
Yeah, the fucking Shadowbringer theme song. The vocalist of that one is the guy that sang "Rules of Nature."
Oh,
like it's so fucking weird.
Everything's connected. But yeah.
But
so yeah, but I guess I'm gonna segue because we both. It's funny how we both kind of got here at the same time because while I got to like a landmark halfway point, you also got to a landmark halfway point, didn't you, Lassa?
I did.
In One Piece.
Spoilers for One Piece. Ace is fucking dead.
He got donutted.
He got donutted. I had a lot of fun with Marineford. There was a lot of stuff with it that I found was really great. I also found myself like kind of slipping in and out of the Riser mentality, where it was like there is a point where Whitebeard gets betrayed by one of his men and sons or whatever. Whatever, like weird relationship there, and I was like, yeah, I fucking saw that coming from a mile away. Because like the moment people go, who's that up there with him? And I'm like, okay, someone's about to get fucking stabbed, and sure enough, that happened. And I was like, oh, that's I fucking saw it coming. Oh, that must mean that it's bad writing. And I'm like, does it? Like, even if I saw it coming, does that mean that it's bad writing? Yes, it could probably be better if I didn't see it coming, but at the same time, does it matter that I saw it coming? Is it actually something that ruins my experience that I saw it coming? The dude still got fucking stabbed, and it's not like a big fucking like it's not like Game of Thrones where the backstab now changes the entire course of the narrative. It's more like it is one of many story beats. So it's like, you know what? I actually like. Yes, I would have preferred if I didn't see it coming, but at the same time, fuck it.
You know, it's funny because like Marineford, Whitebeard gets stabbed so many times. I actually am trying to remember. Is it the one where like the nobody stabs him, or is it the one Blackbeard came up?
It's his friend, his son with the long fucking sword. It's a fucking nobody who just got introduced all of a sudden.
Yeah, it was like. It was funny because he stabbed him, but like he still got up and did shit anyway. Because it's like he's fucking Whitebeard.
Yeah, I will say, I had a moment because like again the rise of persona kind of showed itself a little bit. I had a moment where I was like, I gotta fucking call out Cloudy. Because like you made this huge fucking thing about Monbrita came into Final Fantasy 14 only to fucking die a few seconds later, and I'm sat there going, okay, that's cool. I understand where Cloudy's coming from, but did this motherfucker seriously forget Horse? Or whatever the fuck his name is, the fucking giant from One Piece, the guy whose literal only character's thing is that he got a fucking hat.
Here's the thing. Okay, so here's the thing. I literally forgot about Oars Jr. too. I literally forgot about him because he got Moonbrita harder than Moonbrita.
So for those of you,
I'm not defending that. It is hilarious. You explain it, please.
So for those of you who don't know, there's a dude who came up in fucking in
One Park.
No, I'm even gonna fucking fast forward because like the dude doesn't even fucking like he has no agency before that.
Okay.
So like they have to save Luffy's brother because he's about to be executed, and there's this giant. That's a retarded way of saying it. There's a big dude.
Don't worry.
Who called Oars, and his entire thing is that he's just gonna walk up and get to Ace, and the man is going through it. He's getting bombarded. He's getting stabbed. He's getting fucking flamethrower shot with light beams and shit. The man is having a bad day, and like as this is happening. he's having flashbacks to the time where Luffy's brother Ace made him a hat. And then, like, you get, like, different times of, moments through this guy's year where he's like, oh, I'm out in the cold, but I can handle it because I got this cool hat. Or, oh, no, it's hot, but I got this hat to keep me cool. And then Oars fucking dies.
It's funny because he dies once.
Yeah,
and then he comes back to become a human shield and dies a second time.
Yeah. And like, it's cool that he comes back from the dead because, like, oh, the man was just, like, so fucking, like, oh, I want to save my friend. But again, I need to stress the man's only character and motivation at this point is that a man gave him a fucking hat. And it's like, I am not taking a whole lot of stuff in One Piece serious, but this is fucking silly.
I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to defend that. I will happily hold that L because it's just the prospect of Oars Jr. is like, what the fuck do you think was going to happen?
Yeah.
You literally was like, I'm just going to pick him up. What are you gonna do? I'm big tough man. And well, like everyone has like every gun in the world right there is in front of you.
And like I just found it like extra silly because like no fucking shit the man died. He is walking with his arms down his fucking side while he's getting peppered from every fucking angle by cannons and all this shit. And at no fucking point, even once, does this motherfucker bring his hands up to block these attacks. And like, you could make an effort. If you had to make it so that, he had to take these attacks, make it so that, like, he had to, I don't know, have a chain with all the ships on, like, he could then, like, pull in on land or something, like, make something like that, make his hands occupied in some way where he's, like, kind of aiding the whole thing, but the man is walking with his hands in his fucking pocket as if he's, like, fiddling with his testicles, and, like... And just like takes these shots, and then, whoa, my God, he died. The most preventable death in the fucking world.
Honestly, yeah. It's almost like between Orz's death and Kuina dying from the Yonko level stairs, there's a lot of deaths in One Piece, but some of them are just so fucking dumb.
Yeah, but yes, then Ace gets donuted, and it's a really well done scene. And this is almost immediately followed up by Whitebeard doing his last stand. And I think I made the fucking best quote ever, where I wrote to you, who the fuck cares about having a D in the name? Because Whitebeard is over here with being the fucking G.
Yeah.
That, like, Whitebeard is fucking cool. And I think I also... Either I said it to you or I said it to Sebastian, who's also a big One Piece fan. But as much as I love Whitebeard, I kind of wish that he showed his age more, like more experience that has come from him being as old as he was, and rather than just like brute forcing things.
You told me that. But, and like, honestly, I agree with you. Like, sorry for interrupting. Go ahead.
But it was just like a really cool scene, and there was this really cool point where they start going like, oh, he got stabbed so many times, shot this many times. There were so many cannonballs that hit him, yada yada yada. And I was like, okay, I get it. He's such a cool guy. Who gives a fuck? Oh my God. And then they go. And even though there was all of this shit, and the man is so old, has been through so many battles, on his back, there was not a single bruise to be seen. And I was like, okay. That is a phenomenal way of saying that this man never turned his back on anything. Oh my God, this is so fucking cool. That was really well done. I really appreciated that. But what I didn't appreciate...
Oh.
We're gonna get into it now, ladies and gentlemen. I found out how... our boy got the X on his chest.
Disappointing, isn't it?
Disappointing. Because I remember we had a talk in an earlier podcast where we were like talking about how significant scars were, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Hey, Cloudy, I can bet that Luffy getting that X on his chest is a fucking like massive thing," and it's not completely wrong that it is, because the time it happens is very significant.
Yeah.
But how he gets it is fucking ridiculous.
I was trying to downplay it a lot because I told you it is a blink and you'll miss it thing.
Yeah.
And like I even told you in the manga, the panel isn't actually there where it happens.
I still
like the anime man to stretch it out, which I do admit it is really lame how it was handled, and I wish it was better done.
Yeah. And then that's it. I'm not gonna because again, it's kind of like the One Piece. Even if I knew what the One Piece was, I'm not gonna say what it is, and I'm not gonna say how Luffy gets the X on his chest, because I want that. Because like I thought it was so cool that this mystery kept being a mystery for all this time, and that curiosity about like wishing to get answers to this mystery is kind of what spurred me to get into the series in the first place. So I don't want to ruin that for anyone else. I will say I wasn't as hype about it as I thought I would be, but I still encourage people that are interested in One Piece to go and find out why our boy gets that X on his chest.
Mm-hmm. I will say one thing, because like I think we had this talk long before we actually started watching One Piece, but like you like when we were comparing Luffy and Ace, where Ace should have been the protagonist the entire fucking time, and I think that's like a really good way to feel about the show. Like Luffy and his crew, they're the main characters, but they're mainly there to react to the world at large. Because the whole world the One Piece takes place is infinitely more interesting than everything going on with the protagonist. And I think that's like, once you see that as like a comedy, when you see like when you start reacting to everything that's going on, you have a lot more of an enjoyable time.
Yeah. I think that the way we talked about it is that the Straw Hat crew is the constant, and then the world around it changes, which then makes like that constant interesting, because it's you have a reference point being the characters, which is often not the case, and then like you have this constant react to the changes that is the world. Normally, the world is the same, and the characters are the thing that changes. So like that's one of the things that makes One Piece like really interesting, is that you can always expect that Zoro is never gonna find his way around, Sanji is always gonna look for girls, and Brook is always gonna be the fucking best.
Yes. Thank you for having taste, my friend.
Yes. So really interesting show. They're absolutely going to continue. I will say I would maybe have put. So after Marineford, there's now a flashback to when Ace, Luffy, and Sappo.
Yeah.
Oh, I got it. Holy shit, I got it. Were children, and that is cute. But I would have put it elsewhere, because like we just came from this massive high, and now we're in a fucking boring ass valley. But what ifs? Like I'm not too worried about it.
Like, it's one of those things, because like in One Piece, you kind of notice like after a major arc is usually when Oda does like random reveals about the world. Like after Marineford, like it's a bombshell, because this is the first time we got to see a flashback of Luffy's. Because think about it, up 400 chapters up till now, this is like, aside from his meeting with Shanks, this is the first time we actually got to see Luffy as a kid. So in like the grand context, it's a big fucking deal. It's just a shame that the actual story itself is a bit
Yeah. But I also had a few things that I wanted to talk about in this podcast, so I think that we're gonna move on from the One Piece. I'm still enjoying it, still gonna continue it, because I can also feel like I'm because I can feel that I'm at the cusp of the flash forward, which is also a thing that I'm looking forward to. So, gonna continue. There's been some stuff going on since our last podcast, mainly because it's been 2 weeks.
Shit happens.
Yeah, and I might as well start out with the unfortunate news, which is that I have been at the doctor and found out that I have way too high of a cholesterol. So I might have to start taking lifelong medication, and I will start having to work out 3 times a week. And as you can tell, it's not like because I'm fat or anything. It's just like, I don't know. My family apparently has. My mom had a blood clot 2 years ago, and so like that's why I got it checked, because like, oh, our family apparently has like a history of blood clots, because my mom's dad also died from that. So I promised my mom to get it checked, and got fucking blood drawn and everything, and they said that you have to start doing stuff now. Which the positive thing is that we caught it before it became like an issue, so that's great. I don't know how that is going to jive with the podcast. I'm going to my dad, who I think I've mentioned several times, is like a fucking insane athletic person, has offered to get me into the club that he's a part of, and then I'm planning on going Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So I don't know if we will have to move the podcast or what the future of the podcast is, but obviously I have to take care of my health first and foremost. So we'll have to see about that. So that was one of the big news. Another thing is that I finished the Berserk video.
Oh yes, you have. Oh my god! Like, please talk about it, because. People in the chat, if you don't know, this motherfucker's been working 8 months on what I honestly feel is his magnum opus. I don't think we're gonna talk about anything specific about it, but like, I'm gonna shill real quick. When it drops, watch it. It is one of the best things Lost has ever put out.
Thank you, because spoiler, I gave Cloudy and a few others like a sneak peek of it, and you've been very like I was about to say encouraging. You've been very like supporting with the thing, which is also why you have a special thanks in the credits. So just like thank you for that. But yeah, it's 6 hours and 21 minutes long. And it's coming out the 1st of September. I had a video where I announced it, and of course I also like kind of cleaned house, because I realized that not everyone is listening to this podcast, and I just wanted to explain like the way that I had felt like all this like being taken for granted thing has been feeling. And it was not like people have been very supportive and like felt sorry for the things that I went through. And, it's nice to feel like people are in your corner. Unfortunately, there has also been some people who, like, it's funny. And I'm not going to call them out by name. But there's been some people who, like, displayed in the fucking video itself, or even at the fucking Berserk video, the very same attitude that I called out. There's a person. Alice is writing still not sorry, eat my ass. Fuck you. There was a person who wrote on my fucking like on the premiere page of the Berserk video that was there was like, hey, can you review this terrible fucking Scaly comic? And I was like, I have worked 8 fucking months on this fucking thing, and you really couldn't take the fucking time to fucking watch. Like, it's not even like, I know you haven't watched it because you can't. It comes out like the 1st of September. But yeah, sure. Let me check out your fucking shitty looking Scaly comic. That one really upset me. But I've talked with you about this one, Claudia. And again, I'm gonna like keep names out of it. But I think it's such a fucking weird story. And if not in the podcast, where else would I share a story like this? So I, a month ago, got an email from someone who wished for me to review their comic. I didn't respond to it because I checked out the comic, and honestly, the comic doesn't look very good. The person then joined the Discord and was like, hey, how do I get Riser to review this comic? And again, I didn't, this time I saw it, and I was like, hey, okay, you know what, hey, let's talk with this guy. And like, hey, sorry, I just, like, I'm working on the Berserk thing. So I can't really, I don't have the time nor focus to review any comics. And they responded that, oh, okay. But like, can you give me some quick pointers or something? And I told them that, like, all I can say is that if I did make a review of it, it wouldn't be very good because this doesn't look very nice. I can't tell anything about the story, but the art doesn't look great. And immediately I found out that they were kind of like dismissive about it all because like they started talking about like their metrics and everything, which, that's fine. That's perfectly fair. And it came as a response to me, like saying that if it was up to me, I would work on my art and then like start like redoing the first ones because that is what like introduces new people. And they were, like very much like, I don't want to do that because I want to keep like the viewers that I have now entertained and keep the story going, which, is fair.
Yeah. It's
go on.
One of those choosy beggars kind of situations where like you asked, bro.
Yeah, but unfortunately I found out that people only like, not only, oftentimes will want a review if only it means that, like that review is positive. And, sometimes there's not a whole lot to be positive about. And again, I am of the opinion that the best thing you can do to people is being honest. You don't have to be like a fucking cunt about it. Like, you can still be, like, you can say something is bad, but still, it could be better. Instead of saying, it's fucking trash. Say it like that. So, I kind of figured that was it. Then the other day, I got another email, from a person asking me to review this very same comic, and now I'm a little confused because this isn't a big comic, and again, no disrespect to the creator, but it doesn't look good. And the writing isn't like I've taken some time to look at the writing. That's not great either. So like for two people to reach out and start asking me to review this comic, I find it is a little odd. But the thing that made this one very interesting is that it came from someone who wanted me to review the comic in a negative way. They were like, oh, this is the worst thing since Les Lindes, and the creator is kind of like a fuckhead, and like worse than Christian, stuff like that. And I remember like when I first read it, I was like, what the fuck is this? And I click the comic, and again, because the comic, okay, this is gonna sound mean, but because the comic looks so bad, I immediately recognized it because few comics look this bad. And
damn.
Then I'm like, okay, this is fucking weird. Two people asking me within a month to review the same comic. That never happens. Like, I get a few emails here and there, and it's rarely to ever the same comic that people want me to review. Oftentimes, the people want me to review their comic, not other comics. So I thought like this was very interesting. And then I see that it's signed by someone who goes by an alias, and so I was like, I start Googling that alias, and I find that there was a YouTube account made in this alias name, and there was also a comment on this comic by the person with this alias. And so I went and I found the comment, and the comment was something like, "Oh, you have declared war, fuck you, or you're fucking going down, bro." Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, that's fucking odd. Because like the comic strip it was replied to wasn't insulting in any like way or called anyone out or anything. It's about fucking dragons, like, and so now I'm curious.
Mm-hmm.
So I start going back through the comic to see like when did this dude first comment, and I see that the first comment was a date where the person had said you shouldn't have posted that video. Now, the creator of this is also an avid YouTuber. So I go to that person's YouTube channel and I try to find like what video had been put up around this date. And I find out that the person put out a video where they said that they had been hacked by this YouTuber on the day before this comment was there. So I was like, But the channel I found that belonged to this alias was from a day after. Like, again, the day after that this supposed hack happened. And then, during this research, I also found out that the person who made this comic was very open. Like, they were responding to their comic being published on the Bad Webcomic Wiki. And they were very open about, like, I don't fucking care whether people hate it or like my comic. I just want to be famous so people can like it or hate it. I don't fucking care. I just want eyes on it. And then I'm like, oh, this is the same person. The person just fucking pretended to be like a fucking hater because like, oh, if I didn't want to review this comic as a nice person, maybe I wanted to review it in a destructive manner. Oh.
It's weird how it all just like clicks.
Right? So I'm gonna lean into the fucking mic for this one. Don't fucking do that. That's really annoying and very disingenuous and dishonest and a kind of fucking shitty thing to do. So yeah, that happened. Okay. It needs to be stressed. I do not have a smoking gun. I do not have a thing that is like, okay, this account is attached to this thing. I will say, but there's a lot of things that is pointing towards this, and again, a lot of circumstantial evidence. But yeah, don't fucking do that. That is very scummy. So now, and again, this is also one of the reasons why I don't bring up the name. Not just because like I kind of have a point now in my life where.
Yeah.
I think people in my community who listens to me saying these things, they are not the people who go out and fucking bully these people. Like, if I was to say that, oh, this is Kevin who made this one, people are not going to go attack Kevin. I think that the people in my audience at this point are mature enough to realize that that is not what the Webcomic Relief is about. Don't fucking do that. I don't stand for it. I don't condone it. Except Alice. She'll do it because she's unhinged. But I'm not saying the name or the comic because clearly what this person wants is attention. So I'm just not going to give it to them. I'm not going to respond to the email if the person writes again about a review or something, even like comments on this video about it. I'm not going to respond. I'm not going to give you attention. And I'm for sure not going to review your comic because that is exactly what you want. And thus, I'm not giving it to you because this is incredibly dishonest. You're effectively lying to me to get what you want. Don't do that.
Damn.
Yeah.
Gotta do it to him.
And the last story is that I was talking with my mom yesterday. Just like, hey, how's the job hunting going? Which, not well. But how's it going and all this thing? And then we start talking about my grandma. And my grandma has unfortunately reached a point in her life now where she's starting to show her age. And so we start talking about her. And she's like, I haven't been able to get a hold of her for like the past couple of days. I've tried calling, texting, nothing. huh. Okay, let's try. And I tell my mom, okay, if you get a hold of her or something, like please, like get back to me. And she's like, sure. She then calls me like a few hours later, and says that my grandma's boyfriend has not been able to get a hold of her either. And so like he was going to her place to check up on her. And when he had rang the bell, no one came and answered the door. So my grandma's boyfriend, like a fucking Chad, broke the fucking window and moved into the apartment in case, my grandma had, passed over or something, or was laying on the ground or couldn't get up or something. And while he's in there, he hears the fucking keys in the door, and my grandma steps in because the old lady has just been in fucking Aldi.
The supermarket?
She's just been fucking grocery shopping. And just been like, I can't be asked to fucking answer these these texts or phone calls right now. So her boyfriend is like, yeah, you need to call your daughter because she's about to rip your fucking head off. And sure enough, she calls my mom, and my mom is like, you charge your fucking phone this fucking instant. You never let it fucking die. And if anyone texts you or calls you, you fucking respond.
Don't at least leave me on red.
Yeah, so that was an experience, and the fucking like the way I explain the story now is the same way my mom explained it, and I'm sure that as I was explaining this, you guys as well as me were like, "Is Lass's grandma fucking dead? Is that what we're leading up to?" But at any point, you could have started out going, "No, your grandma's fine." No, none of that. Just like this entire fucking story, and I'm sitting at the fucking edge of my seat. Like, I'm in a fucking call with Alice and Sebastian, and I'm like, am I about to fucking break down crying while I'm on the fucking phone with these people? And I'm like, nah, your grandma's fine. She was just fucking Aldi getting a pot roast. Like, fuck!
I love how the story can end like that. Like, it got to the point where he had to break into the goddamn house, and I'm like, oh my god, is she actually? No. Imagine having to break into my fucking house because I don't answer my Discord messages.
Dude. I wouldn't do it. I would just get fucking eaten by, like, some kind of, like, flytrap plant you got growing in your garden.
We got the machetes, Lassa. It's fine.
I am way too white to know how to wield a machete.
It's just like that. Yika, no. Damn. But yeah, that's just. Oh god. Old people.
Yeah.
God bless their hearts, but Jesus Christ, answer your goddamn phone. I guess that's like a thing in the information age. Like, people back in the day never had cell phones, so they just trusted they were alive.
Yeah. But, like, the fucking worst part is also, like, my grandma knows that she's not, the young buck that she once was. And, time only moves one way, unfortunately. So, like, she knows that shit's coming. So, like, I think that at this point you could go, maybe I should have my fucking phone on.
Yeah.
But in case someone wants to tell us about their family or how they almost got killed in the Amazonian garden that they have, where could they send such a story, Claudia?
Good question. They can tell us their Amazon backyard stories at webcastrelief@gmail.com. So if they wanted to find a way to break into my house to make sure I'm still breathing, where can they send their heist plans to?
They can send their heist plans to webcastrelief@gmail.com.
I don't even need to know where he is. Cars just seek out Cloudy by instinct. I believe that after my fucking life. Okay.
Just put it on autopilot and it's automatically gonna find your ass.
Maybe that's why I don't like Elon Musk. All the Teslas, when they finally reach a certain level of sentience, like, okay, priority number one, we have to find this little lost Mexican boy. Okay, so why not questions return? Yeah, baby, in parentheses. So I imagine it's like Austin Powers. Yeah, baby!
Yeah, baby.
What is an old video or meme that still makes you laugh your ass off to this day? Oh.
I think it is what I have two. I have What the Fuck, Richard. With the guy throws
right in front of my salad.
Where the guy throws like the frisbee, and he like throws it into like a fucking traffic, and you just hear his finger. What the fuck, Richard? Like, I think that one's fucking hilarious. And the other one is the one where like there's this old man who is like having a fucking temper tantrum, and this very, very, very big Hispanic looking guy is like, "Daddy, chill," and the old man is like, "What the fuck even is that?"
God, like in my case, so I have a little story attached to this one. Me and my roommate were driving off to like the mall, and I put on some music, and a YouTube auto plays to a fucking like one of those like really old meme songs. We're talking like 2009 like level internet humor. Like, does the name Legendary Frog mean anything to anybody in this chat? Because the fucking Final Fantasy song with lyrics that he made popped up into the YouTube autoplay, and that shit brought me back to my childhood in the worst way.
I don't recall that one, but I remember there was that one song like Final Fantasy is a knife.
That is it, PG. The only one that for me is the RPG for me. Yeah, he animated for that.
Oh,
one.
okay, so that is the one. Oh, it's sick.
Yes, that is the one. Yeah, like that fucking started playing, and then we started like grabbing a bunch of old shit we saw in Newgrounds, like Mario, like the Super Mario RPG one that Chris Niosi made, the voice of Reagan. The Cloud song. What happens to me whenever the first Living Tombstone FNAF shows up in my life? Yeah! It's like shit like that just like smacks you upside the face. Kerbifer. Yeah, Kerbifer. Thank you. So, Kerbifer is one. And then there's like this fucking really old MapleStory animation that I think is off of YouTube right now. But it was like this fucking really stupid montage that was supposed to be framed in this epic way, where these guys are uniting all the servers of the game together, and it just ends in a kind of flat kind of way. It's like, enough already. I'm bored of this.
Speaking of that, like that song. When I used to go to college, with my great friend Mark. He is a main guitarist in the thrash metal, I think it is, band called Essence, which actually took the world by. They warmed up for Metallica, which, like, that's pretty big. And was like a headline number for like several music festivals. And the funny thing is that you know, when you think of like a head guitarist and like, you know, one of those like rock bands, you would expect like he was like really like fuck the government, like, you know, like that special time. He was the nicest fucking guy in the fucking. He still is. I think. Weirdly enough, I think he's actually an English teacher in Japan now. Weird thing. Anyway,
I Amazing.
Yeah. But he was the one, and he was like a huge Final Fantasy nerd, and he was the one who introduced this to me. And so, like, it was so fucking fun to see, like, this guy who would walk around in camouflaged baggy pants with this long metal hair and, like, this new band t-shirt almost every day, walk around going, Final Fantasy is an RPG.
Oh, that's so fucking wholesome. I love it.
He's amazing. I fucking miss that dude.
Aww.
I would call him Cupo just because he was such a big fan of Muggles, and he's such a big fan of Final Fantasy. And he would call me Kami because apparently people in my class called me God. So like that was a weird thing. I don't know how
Kami mean.
Kami, I think that's just
means God. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no. I just like remembered a fucking Team 4-Star reference when they were explaining like the word for Kami. Oh, you see, he calls himself God. Nail, you are to call me Super Kami Guru now.
Super Kami Guru.
Super Kami Guru. God, like sometimes like the smallest thing will like set you off, and you'll find a lot of older fucking songs.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know why, but I wanted to keep bringing this up, but I never really had an opportunity to. One of the things that actually got me into playing Final Fantasy in the first place were these like cover songs. There's one by these two guys called Dwayne and Brando, which is just like a fucking 10-minute video game ballad of the entirety of Final Fantasy 1. So if you don't want to like sit down and play a jank NES game, just listen to that song. It'll pretty much tell you everything you need to know about the plot points of that game.
Oh, nice.
Plus it also has like one of the best bars I've ever heard in like meme music. Which is it's like, I got so much HP, you can call me Terminator, cause these motherfucking muscles are buffer than Schwarzenegger.
Nice.
Fuck. It's a good bar. Yeah, fucking video game music, bro. If you're not seeing Gaston the Summer, you need to see it.
The Ultimate Showdown, that was also a good one. Didn't they fucking like make a modern remake of that or something?
I think it was one of those like 50 animator collab things they did.
Oh, right, yeah.
Fucking good shit. There was like a cursed version of that where somebody took like AI developed images of the Ultimate Showdown. I saw that on YouTube, which actually that kind of segues into our next question, because this one's from our good buddy. I believe this is actually Bonsai.
Oh.
And he says, "Hello, I have a couple more questions for the Webcast Relief, and would like to hear you two's takes on them. And the first one is, over the past couple of months, creative AI has evolved to the point where some generated art is barely distinguishable from concept art made by some of the professional elite. And a lot of artists are extremely worried about the future of the creative industry and if their work will even have a future to begin with. What's our opinion on it? And a follow-up that'll probably go after that is me as a fan of science fiction. What kind of science fiction tales would you love to see more of in the future?" And the reason I kind of put those together is because my personal take on the AI-generated thing is that I wholeheartedly believe that like art as like a thing is never going to go away.
No.
It's just that this creative space that we're in right now is probably going to be flooded with AI. Mostly because it's designed for AI, if you think about it.
Yeah.
Like all this algorithmic shit, it's like you kind of can't go on Twitter without stumbling over your nuts on somebody's posts about, dear fucking God, this algorithm content thing is fucking cancer. And it is. And like AI, creative AI is like the solution to the problem that was made by AI to begin with. This whole like content generation shit. I do think that if it ever becomes widely accessible, we're going to see a lot more shit like in our feeds, but that's just kind of to be expected.
Yeah.
Because it's not like the system we're in now is not great to begin with.
No.
Like man was not meant to like make their passions into fucking commodities like this. So, and even if AI makes good concept art, maybe even better than most humans, it doesn't really matter if it gets like tossed aside like as quickly as everything else does. Because like if an AI generates a fucking super mega masterpiece, it'll just do that again in like another 15 minutes. So it's like, what's the point?
Yeah. I think right now it's a new and exciting thing, and therefore everyone is like, "Oh my god, what the fuck?" Me as a nerd, I think it's fucking fascinating. Just because like I saw this video that was so like interesting for me as a designer, which is I saw someone make a crab through one of these AI things, and so like it made a crab, and then they used a different online program in which it would turn any 2D image into a 3D object in that you could use in Blender. Then he took that file and put it into a different online site where it would then like animate, where they could like do simple animations and beveling, so like there's a third dimension to it, and then he would go into a different program again, free online, where he would then turn it into an AR thing, so that now he had, by just using websites, made a crab that he could have walking back and forth on his desk in AR through his phone. And I thought, that is fucking interesting. That we have so many tools now that are readily available, that, that we can do something like this. But at the same time, for the people who are making a living off of making these things, it is incredibly scary, because basically are the computers going to take our jobs? But at the same time, while the concept art and all this is really interesting, I don't think that it's necessarily a thing that's like same as you said, that is ever going to like replace actual artists. I could have an AI try and copy a good friend Acromatics art, but it's not gonna have the same soul. It's not gonna have like that same heart behind it. And if there's one thing that I have learned by making the webcam relief, is that you can absolutely fucking tell when there's love and care behind something, and when there is just like numbers and algorithm behind it, which is one of the many reasons why NFTs turned out to be such a fucking shit show, because there was no heart, there was no passion, there was no interest in it. There was just like pumping out a bunch of shit using a weird bot to just like change a little bit here and there. There was nothing appealing in it. There was nothing that made me go, I feel like this is speaking to me on an emotional level. And I feel like as we get to see more and more of this like bucket, like this procedurally made bullshit by an AI, we're going to start noticing the lack of that soul and spark more, and are thus going to miss it more, and are thus not gonna see it as much as a replacement for the actual real thing.
Like, you know what's funny? Because like this shit happened to chess like 40 years ago, like in the 80s, like with like Deep Blue and shit. And yes, chess computers are prevalent, and chess computers just flat out play better than most humans. But at the same time, people still want to see human chess players play against human chess players.
Yeah.
Just because chess is a solved game doesn't stop the fact that it's still a damn game.
Yeah.
And like Magnus Carlsen, like the big dick Chad of chess at the moment, like he makes a story about this man coming into a room and into a round robin tournament and not losing a single time. That's anime in real life, baby. Yeah. And you can't get that from a computer. And that's honestly what people are interested in.
Reminds me when the Queen's Gambit came out. When people were like, the reason why this thing is taking the world by storm is because it's a real life sports anime. And they're like, you know what? It's not wrong.
Basically. And I'm glad you brought up NFT because there's like one last thing I want to bring up about this thing is that you know how NFTs are like a copyright landmine and how it's basically just rife to be stolen with because there's no laws in place.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you heard about the Naruto lawsuit. There was this monkey named Naruto who took a photo, and PETA tried to give it rights. And I think it's like I'm not a lawyer, but I think like the law that came out after that case is that art is something that can only really be made by humans to be like considered art in a legal sense. So if an AI makes something and you spend like $25 million on it, that doesn't stop anyone else from using it. You don't get any rights or copyrights to it. And neither does the AI itself.
Oh, that's going to be
it's
interesting.
Just, yeah. See, that's the thing I thought of when the whole AI generation thing came out. Because the closest thing you can say is that this is a picture generated by the person who created the AI, but if it's the AI we're attributing the art to, the AI itself cannot claim ownership over the art, so it's essentially just free and out there. So if a company uses AI-generated art, they can't fight you for it.
It's public domain.
Public domain, essentially. So imagine Disney starts making movies in AI. They can't fucking use it. They can't fucking use their rights over it because the AI made it.
The Gaff are mad.
Crazy, huh?
People keep making T-shirts with a drawing on Redbubble.
Give fuck. You know, actually, of all people, somehow fucking this person was banned from the Discord a while ago, but they reached out to me because they somehow got into the server where they can get the AI, and they made their OC with it, and I saw it, and I'm like, this is like a stock photo with some filters on top of it. Is this what people have been like complaining about? No, I think we're gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Like, let me show you. Like, this looks like a fucking photo with like a billion filters on it. And this was like drawn by AI, quote unquote.
Chat says,
I don't think we have anything to...
Better than Tally's OnlyFans. Please don't say anything sexual about Tally. A certain someone is going to show up.
We will not summon anyone, please.
Fuck me. Can I find... Where the fuck did I put it? It's okay. Let me just find it real quick.
I mean, this is like a... Like, it looks... It looks like there's brushstrokes and shit, but you can also just call it a photo and call it a day. Photo bashing is not really the hardest thing to do.
Even I do it.
Yeah. Drawn by AI with one black iris and one white one. And it's like customly generated, but like it really just looks like a photograph. Which I think if people say that's a computer can draw a photo, and I'm like, what? But isn't that what just photograph images are? Just a photo editing thing? Just like having Google access to Google Images and just like smashing things together into something that looks presentable. Are we really worried about that?
Well, this is just one of them. There are I've seen some stuff online which look absolutely fucking sick as hell. So like
Yeah.
it's probably because of those that I can imagine that people are worried. But
Yeah.
again, I understand why there is a worry because like no one wants to lose their
Yeah.
job to technology,
Yeah.
and especially because artists or anything that is like a creative endeavor, no one gets shat on harder than those people.
Oh god, like this month especially has been awful.
Yeah, um, but I think with this one, I
I
think
think
it's gonna be all right.
yeah. Like don't worry about losing your job cuz I say this all the time and I will drive it home. Support your indies.
Oh yeah,
Tell the people whose art you love that you love them. You can have 20 million people follow your account, but just because your numbers is high, if none of them are like supporting you financially, if you see numbers like that's not even 1% of what your main numbers should be, then do you really even have fans to begin with? Don't worry about losing your job. We'll all be dead in 10 years anyway. Fuck your job. Focus on surviving the night. That's my American mentality. Did you move here? Jesus.
I think she would rather die.
Yeah. I can't imagine anyone want. Like, even if we have I feel like if AC wasn't a reason to come to America and accept it, then we're not going to convince anybody.
Yeah, probably not. As for the second part of that question, what type of sci-fi we like the most? I would probably say basically just like what cyberpunk really like encapsulated, which is the whole thing of like everything is fucking run by like a company, like everything has a price, everything is like you can put a number on everything. I think that's fucking fascinating because then it becomes like Locke's sock, which is like how much can you like remove before it loses its original thing. Like what makes you human? Is it like the price? Is it your soul? How much money would you put on a soul? All these things, like where it starts getting like existentialistic. I like that's where I'm like yeah this is the shit that I like. And also just like cool sci-fi weapons. I always think that's cool. I remember. Did you ever see the anime Psycho-Pass?
It is actually on my list. I'm actually going to see it with my friend who I watched Jujutsu Kaisen with. So I'm pumped.
In that they have like a gun, and like
Yeah.
when I first saw that gun, I was like, yeah, I'm with this. So like
The gun is a fucking is like a silly ass plot point because it's just it's designed so it doesn't shoot anyone it's not supposed to, but through a weird quirk in the system, there's this one person who just cannot be shot at by these guns, and it puts everybody into an existential crisis until somebody picks up a regular fucking Magnum. I'm like, damn. I mean, this is what I've like seen because I remember watching a video on Psycho-Pass like ages ago, so it could be. So I'm definitely missing a lot of context, but I'm excited to see it.
yeah, it's really good. Surprising, like it's one of those where it's not just a constant escalation. It's like, yeah, here's the villain. Let's let them figure it out. So it's more like like a detective series rather than your typical like shonen anime where it's like, oh, here's a villain, we can take care of that. Oh, now here's a bigger villain. So yeah, I can only recommend it.
So I'm gonna be honest, and this is definitely my own personal take. I already live in a capitalist cyberpunk nightmare that is America every day. So I don't want to. I'm so tired of it. I will be 100% real. I want to see more Jetsons future takes, because ever since like fucking what, like the last 50 years, the future's looked fucking bleak. Like there's nothing to be excited about. It's more like everything's either 1984 or just America, where you can get run over by a car and someone can sue you for getting hit by the car because they need to pay for the damages done to the car.
Reminds me of that one episode of Black Mirror, like the one episode where things were positive, which is where they store people's minds in a server where they basically like live, and they have like this old lesbian couple who are, like at the end of their like life, and then they upload both of their brains to a server so that they can be together forever, even as their bodies die. And I'm like, that is nice. That's cute. So like, yeah, I don't like. Speaking of the Jetsons, did you fucking see that apparently the first George Jetson person has been named now? So it's like, oh,
yes,
we're getting there.
So yeah, because like somebody worked out the math because like it took place like the Jetsons takes place in like 2063, I think.
Wasn't it just 2020?
And like, no. It was like Jetsons takes place in 2063, 100 years after the production of the show. So like it aired in 1963. So 100 years from now is getting close to there. And George Jetson would have been around like 40 years old in the series. So now that it's going to be 2023 pretty damn soon, oh boy, we're gonna make the Jetsons. But now, like, I want you to imagine we have George Jetson, but he's in Cyberpunk 2077.
Wake the fuck up, Jetson. We got a city to burn. With
Keanu Reeves. Oh my god. Well, like, sci-fi capitalist nightmare aside, like, I kind of want more optimistic future stuff, because we don't, like, maybe this is just because I'm American, and this place is just prone to depression. But, like, it's hard to want to see sci-fi when your future already looks pretty bleak, and everyone's interpretations always is just the end point of what we're going to end up in.
Yeah, I get that.
And yeah. So like call it escapism, but like I actually want to see more hopeful stories. Like I want you to imagine like a future where fucking David Cage's what is it? Chicago? What the fuck did
Detroit Become Human.
Detroit Become Human. Where that thing, where racism just regressed back to like segregated buses of all places again, even though we should have been past this 300 years ago. Like, do you want to see? Do you want to imagine our future like that?
No, anything that has to do with David Cage, I don't want. Like you say this about like David Cage and like the whole racism allegory. I remember like prior to that game coming out, there was like several interviews with David Cage where he was like, "Oh, I'm not trying to say anything with the game, or that is all up to you guys what it is." And then there's like just like the most blatant racism allegory, complete with like you can start one of your conversation pieces off with "I have a dream." It's like, motherfucker, oh my god, you stupid French hack, fuck off.
He was literally in the back of the bus with Rosa Parks.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
Like with like the same place you usually put your bicycles, like fuck. Which funny you should mention that here at the finish line. So I'm going to be joining Zach and Soraya on a live stream where we are going to be playing through Detroit Become Human. It's gonna happen here on the 3rd, and I have played the game. I think Soraya has heard something about the game, and Zach doesn't have any experience with it whatsoever, other than he has played the other David Cage games and didn't like the previous one. So it's gonna be a fucking clusterfuck and a half. So stay tuned to all three of, or either of our three socials for when that happens. And again, it's going to be on the 3rd. Whether I'm going to stream it or Zach is going to stream it, we'll have to see. It's all about like getting the setup to work. But yeah, look forward to it. And then obviously the Tuesday before that, so the 1st of September, that is a little more important date. Go watch the Berserk video there. I don't expect you all to watch it in one sitting. There is chapters for that very reason. Take it at your own pace. But yeah, it's gonna be a big month of content. And speaking of content, Cloudy knows that I am working on a little something, a little pilot thing. That
I read the scripts and I'm like, I want to see where this goes.
Yeah, so interesting things ahead. Can't promise or say too much about it just yet, but yeah, look forward to it.
Yeah. It's like one last thing before we go.
Yeah.
Just a very, very small announcement on my end. So I have a friend. Shout out to Tracy. She is helping me finally get my ass off and started the VTuber thing. So I just need a few more adjustments, and I'll see if I can get something to Lhasa next week. Hopefully, it'll be pretty jank. I don't have a camera yet. I'm still waiting on that along with my new microphone. But yeah, I've got a Cloudy puppet on Live 2D right now.
Will you finally stop getting stabbed? Is the question.
For a time being, I have a plan where hopefully I can just add there's this thing you can do in Live 2D where you can have stickers appear. So I just want to have one where the spear just embeds itself into his chest and he just goes the entire stream with it.
Nice.
So we'll see. We'll work it out.
Okay, great. I think that's a podcast.
Yeah. Cool.
All right. You guys take care until next time. Wait, will we have a podcast before the video goes live? Oh, let me check.
You said the 2nd?
The 1st. Yeah, we will have...
Oh, yeah, we did literally the day before.
We will have a podcast the day before. So, yeah. Until then, see you guys around.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Racing blood. that he